Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Blackmail. I'm sorry, I'm just running a whole bunch of different things in my head right about now. Welcome to Holy Crap, the vlogcast. A vlogcast that comes from a... You're going to fix that in post, right, Dallin? Thanks. Podcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. Podcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect when some people on Facebook that I knew from high school posted crap that was factually in error. And they enjoyed it that way, and that's the way they wanted to do Facebook, and they didn't appreciate my way of playing with Facebook, which was to correct such mistakes and errors and wrong. Part of this is also to follow through with the old adage that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I am your host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble all over the place. You can find me under most social media under that name. I was born to a Roman Catholic family in Brooklyn, New York, raised on Long Island. I currently reside outside of Buffalo, New York, and I'm an unabashed atheist. We are going to have a great time. Just want to start off by saying good night to Tech. Unreno Tech is a little on the sleepy side, and he's got stuff going on in his personal time that needs much more of his waking time. So we just wish him a good night, and you take good care of yourself, man. Thanks. So let's get everything started over here. We have a otherwise full contingent today. God damn. You know what? Let me go ahead and introduce everybody, and I'll start getting my caffeine in my face. Start over on the left side of the continent. Good evening, Dallin, and welcome back.
Good evening. Yes, glad to be back. Let's see if I can make it a little bit more consecutively now. Yeah. Anyways, evening, folks. Online known as Dallin. Born and raised in north central Canada, born to a Lutheran family. The religion wasn't a very large part of my growing up. It was more just the Sunday go-to-meeting type stuff. My parents always encouraged me to never stop learning, always ask questions, and above all, keep an open mind. That has served me very well through my life. And up until recently, I was a very live and let live kind of person until the people I grew up identifying as the village idiots, read fundamentalist preachers, were starting to do an awful lot of damage to my friends down south of the border, and I realized it was time to take a side. And yeah, I chose the side of atheism, skepticism, and so far so good.
Moving to the right, over north of me. Good morning, heretic woman.
Good morning. I am in Ontario, Canada. I've always been here, sadly. One day I'll move, I'm sure. I started out in the United Church of Canada, which is pretty liberal as far as churches go. But as we all do stupid things when we're teenagers, my stupid teenager trick was to join a Calvinist sect. I don't recommend it. They're not very fun people. But I have now been an atheist for almost 27 years, and I spend as much time as I can on the interwebs, airways, and making life miserable for as many, well, not miserable, but challenging for as many religious fanatics as I can find.
Good euphemism for it, appreciated. Moving to the Midwest of the U.S. Good morning, Brigid.
Good morning. I was born and raised in the South. I am currently living in the Midwest. I was born and raised in the Church of Christ, which is very fundamentalist. And about 2003, I finally walked away from religion and became a reluctant activist, having to fight back against creeping theocracy and biblical patriarchy here where I live.
Moving south of me at this point, into Pittsburgh. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning, folks. My name's Joe, and I have such a headache. Its name's Shujin. You might know it.
You're welcome.
I was born to an Irish Catholic family in Chicago, Illinois. I spent 8 years in the United States military, and I am now currently living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as a designer and atheist.
Moving across the water over into England. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Shujin. I'm Chris. I'm currently based in northwest England, where I work in tech support. I was raised sort of loosely Catholic, but it never really took, and I sort of generally forgot about the whole religion thing for 10, 15 years, and then through skeptical groups here, I started, as Dallin did, seeing the amount of damage done by fanatical sort of religious beliefs, beliefs in all kinds of strange quack health treatments, and other examples of poor thinking. So I've started to get much more vocal about that over the last few years.
And moving through the channel, you guys don't really call it that anymore, do you? I assume. Good morning in France, Joseph.
Good morning. My name is Joseph, currently living in Paris, France. I was brought up Anglican and very quickly saw the little sense in it. And today I'm doing everything I can to promote individual value judgments and critical thought.
So that is your group for tonight. First off, of course, those of you that might be watching live, thank you very kindly for your time. We hope that you enjoy yourself. If you'd like to take advantage of the question and answer system here on the page, please, by all means, feel free to do so. That's one of the ways that we'll be able to interact with you while we're going live, which, of course, brings us over to Katie. Good morning. We see you over there. Yes, the crap crew is ready to believe you, if you can actually back up whatever it is you say. If you are also...
A disclaimer for that.
If you're watching, of course, live, or better yet, even if you're not, feel free to live tweet over to us. You can send it over to @HolyCrapTV, and we'll be able to get that. I'm also up over on Facebook right now. I have that open, as well as Google+. You can get us pretty much any time that you'd like over there. Let me get everything started over here because I'm about to tweak some people really, really, really hard, and it's not going to be fun. Your 5-minute freestyle with apologies to Noah, Heath, and Lucinda from the Scathing Atheist starts right here, right now. You guys have heard on the news the Catholic priests who have been brought into church and have been put on the stand and been asked, when did you know that it was wrong to molest and have sex with minors? And the answer was, I can't answer that. I do not know. Did you know in the 80s when you were having sex with minors that it was wrong? I can't tell you if I did or if I didn't. I'm going to really piss off people right now. I have to side with the priest. I know people are going to be like looking at their screens right now and ready to punch through it, and I understand. I get you. You, if you're a skeptic, if you are a rational person, you have to side with the priest on this one too. And I can't believe I'm actually saying this. You have no idea what kind of My mom used to smoke like a chimney, couple packs a day sometimes. I don't even remember what it was. It doesn't really much matter. I hated it. I hated the smell. I hated the taste because I had the taste in my face from the smoke and the ashtrays and such in the car. Yeah, she was one of those people that smoked in the car. You know, it was the 70s. Everybody did it. We have to side with the priest on this one, and I'll tell you why. And it sucks. Take yourself back 40 years if you're old enough to be able to think back that far. Let's take you back half your age. Doesn't matter how old you are now. Think back to whatever your age is currently. Half it. So half of 39 puts me back into the mid-80s. All right? How's that? What were you doing? Let's call it your birthday of whatever year that was. What were you doing on your birthday that year? Good. You've got some kind of vague recollection of what it was? Great. What was your impression of the political scope at the time? Maybe there were candidates that were going on. Maybe there was something that was going on that maybe it was the Iran-Contra. How did you feel about the depositions that were happening with Ollie North at the time? Or how about the stuff that was being spoken about to Alan Greenspan when he was brought in to try to find out what was going on with the economy crisis, the OPEC nations that were boycotting in the 70s to the West. What did you think about it at the time? Do you remember? I don't remember what I thought about it at the time. I can surmise pretty much what I would have thought about it, but I don't know. Did I know at the time that wearing a seatbelt was legal or illegal? I didn't know at the time. I can guess. But can I say definitively what I thought of it at the time? I didn't write it down. I didn't record myself in any way, shape, or form. I can't say definitively what I thought about stuff half a lifetime ago. And that's the legal loophole that we've got right now for these guys. And it sucks. And it bites. And I can't tell you how visceral a reaction it was in my head when it suddenly dawned on me, yeah, these guys are answering truthfully. I don't know if I knew that it was illegal to have sex with a minor. I can guess that, yes, I would have thought so, but I can't tell you now what I thought specifically on the topic at the time. And that would be an honest and true statement. When did I learn that it was illegal? When did you learn that it was illegal not to wear a seatbelt in your car? I don't know for sure. I just always wore my seatbelt. I'm pretty sure I would have learned it specifically. It was part of the regs when I was taking my tests to get my driver's license, but I can't tell you when exactly that was. So again, I don't know what to do with this. Can you go ahead and show that these guys are despicable human beings? Absolutely, hell yeah. But because they have to answer honestly to the question, as disgusting as the answer is, we can't blame them for answering honestly. We have to accept the truth of the statement, no matter how disgusting we might find it. We're skeptics. We have to follow the evidence wherever it lies, even if we don't like it. And believe me, I don't like it any more than anybody else. This is episode 101, and this one holds a very special place in my heart. There is a police car when I was growing up that holds a very, very special place in my heart. The police car was 101. And I'll go ahead and I'll tell you, Suffolk County Police out there in the most eastern part of Long Island. Yeah, the part of New York that nobody ever looks at anymore. The part that looks like a fish. And I remember that car very vividly. I remember it a lot. I got transported in that car a couple of times, too. Take that however you will. But, so tonight we're going to kick back. We're going to have ourselves a great old time. We are basically opening it up to anything and everything, and it doesn't really much matter. Because, A, I don't want to come up with a topic. Because, B, we are really officially, truly past the 3-digit mark for episodes. Holy shit. And yes, I got away with saying it. And yeah, by the way, next week, Deadpool weekend. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So, first off, Brigid, Heretic Woman, holy jeez, thank you guys so very much. Last week was a lot of fun. We were talking about that before we went to air. I had a great time. I'm glad that you guys had yourselves a good time. And
It was really good.
we had a good and we picked up some people following the page on Facebook, which, by the way, yes, please remember there is a page on Facebook for us. Just look it up, Holy Crap the Vlogcast. And why am I pushing it? Because as of the recording of this show, we are currently at 98 likes. And my goal is that we get, we start like matching the number of likes to the number of episodes, at least. That's what I'm hoping for.
That'd be good.
That would be good.
Being mighty optimistic, aren't we?
I don't think that I'm pushing too hard. Speaking of pushing, real quickly, get it out of the way. Heretic Woman, you know what I do, and you know what you're going to say, so let's just get it the hell out of the way.
No news. Rafe's still in prison in Saudi Arabia. Thankfully, no one else has been arrested, in his family this week. Let's hope it stays that way.
So no 2-year-olds are in prison along with him?
No, oddly, well, I wouldn't be surprised if there are some there, but not directly related to Rafe, no.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, look back in the news a couple of weeks, you'll see it. As of the recording of this show, it has now been 3 years, 7 months, 21 days since Rafe Badawi was unjustly incarcerated for thought crime in Saudi Arabia. And we're still hoping and waiting for your return, or at least your get the hell out of Dodge to Canada, or really pretty much anywhere. We're hoping for you.
One little tidbit of news, not related to Rafe, but if anybody was aware of the Pakistani poet who had been sentenced to death, they have commuted his sentence to prison time and 80 lashes. I'm thinking it was 10 years in prison, something like that. I'd have to look it up, but they've at least decided, maybe we won't execute him, but, we'll just hold him in jail and torture the guy instead.
800 lashes.
800, thank you. It was 8 something.
It's really too bad that, with the whole, this sort of rising tension between Saudi Arabia and Iran, Sunni versus Shia, even if Iran managed to, completely steamroll over it, those prisoners would probably still stay prisoners because Islam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's kind of too bad.
It is.
And
the people who go running around saying, oh, it's a religion of peace and blah, blah, blah. Read the damn book. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that for a couple of seconds, because
let's do
this
that.
pisses me off. Anybody who says your religion is a religion of peace, there are so few of them that actually are, and the ones that are tend not to be quote-unquote tradition.
Jains are the only one that
Jains that's about it. There might be a few like ethno-religious groups or tribal groups somewhere.
Yeah.
And like the Buddhists try to say that they're not, but they can be very much so.
That illusion for me was shattered a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And this actually happened, I believe it was in England. A Buddhist girl had been raped by one of those Muslim rape gangs that we keep hearing about.
Yeah.
And the Buddhist community went, nope, and went batshit. Like they were burning stuff, they were beating the snot out of people. And my first thought was, well, okay, Buddhism, monks, kung fu. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was playing stereotypes there, but I'm thinking, if a religion purports to have a sect of people that they call monks, you stay the hell away from them because they can kick your ass.
Yep. Anybody who's got D&D 3.5 or higher know full well you stay the hell away because they can crit your ass anytime they want to.
Yeah, and if any of them know Quivering Palm, you fucked. Okay.
These are the
You
spiritual.
just blew the NSFW tag.
Yep.
But it's funny because I've been focusing on debating Muslims over the last couple of weeks. And previously, if I trotted out a Quran verse, especially the one of the kill all the infidels kind of verses, the first thing I'm always told is, you don't understand the Quran, you need to go talk to a scholar about that, right?
Can't you just read the words and understand them? I mean, there's already something wrong there.
I know, and I point that out quite frequently as well. But so recently, I was told about a YouTube channel. Well, actually, Riyasat, my Bangladeshi friend that I did a show with, told me about the Masked Arab, which, if you want to understand some stuff about Islam, he has a kick-ass channel. Definitely go check him out. But he has a really good video on there about pedophilia in Islam, the whole sex with child brides and little girls. And there's a very tight argument that only uses 3 verses in the Quran. It's virtually impossible to get around this. And so, also, the great thing about Masked Arab, he's a native Arabic speaker, and he has, like, a crap ton of links with commentary from Islamic scholars that back up, yes, these verses absolutely mean it's okay to have sex with child brides. And so I've formulated a very tight argument around this. But I always, when I present it, I always have links to the scholars who agree with me. And so now that I've started doing that, I don't get, oh, you don't understand the Quran, you need to speak to a scholar. Number one, I get, oh, not that scholar. And number two, I'm now getting, because I have like 8 scholars that I can cite that support this, I'm getting, oh no, don't listen to scholars, they all contradict each other.
So is that the no true scholar fallacy then?
Apparently so, yes.
Yeah.
Joey,
So who do you listen to?
well, we'll see what happens in a second. Joey, don't back down, man. You of all people. What was it you were going to go ahead and say?
Don't even remember. Sorry. Head is just.
You know, I've got this great. You know what? Let me show you. This is the contract that I had him sign, and never once has he actually gone ahead and done any of the stuff that's in here, especially on page 23 where everything's in... No, actually, wait a second. This is the one from the Friday show that I signed for Tao. Never mind. You know what? Screw this noise.
Is it in Braille?
No, actually, it's in Aramaic. That's the problem.
I guess I guess my copy got lost in the mail.
Yeah, it might have been. DHL is just...
What did I tell you about trusting you at UPS? What did I tell you?
I did it DHL. I thought they would be better.
Maybe your evangelical friend in the hospital ran away with it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you know, I've talked to a few people about that, and they said, well, if you ever go back there, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, that's a bad line right there.
Yeah. Do not use that line on me if I ever go back there, because if I go back there again,
Yeah.
there's something really, really wrong. At least if I end up going back in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, you know what, Bridge? Yeah, perfect time for you on this one. You've worked medical. You've had the opportunity of seeing these chaplains going through and whatnot. I've got to imagine that's gotta. Forgive me. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rip a line from Jacksepticeye. By the way, Jackie, thank you. That's gonna twist your nipples like crazy and just drive you up a wall. Some of these people. Yeah.
Well, I haven't worked in medical in a while, so back when I was still working in medical, I was still a believer, so I was cool with it.
You know what? Screw this noise. I don't even know.
She was waving pom-poms.
Yeah.
What can I say? Back when I was in nursing school and all that stuff, I was still a young earth creationist until about the second year of nursing school.
Well, I'm glad to see that you improved.
I did. I got much better.
She got better.
I got better.
Take your medication or you're going to hell.
God.
Yeah.
But what was
Okay.
really awkward, though, was having to go fetch a chaplain for a relative about a year ago.
Oh.
That was really awkward. I was like, okay. But
Yeah.
I did it.
I, for one, have not had the best experiences with chaplains. I have a few choice words on those.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, this guy, this particular one that I dealt with, he certainly didn't look like he had any kind of military background.
Well, thankfully, in the military, we do have the chaplain, which it can be of any particular major religion. I've seen guys who have Jedi Knight on their dog tags where a religion is normally listed, but I haven't met a Jedi chaplain yet, thankfully.
I'm scoping out the
I
temple
don't know.
right
That
now,
sounds,
actually.
sounds like it'd be fairly ace.
But the thing that bugs me about chaplains is this. No, they can't hold... They are technically officers. No, they cannot hold a command of any sort. Even in a POW situation, usually the ranking officer at the site is in charge of what happens as far as our terms of conduct go. But if it's chaplain, it doesn't matter if the next highest person's a corporal. The corporal's in charge. The thing that I don't like about chaplains, regardless of the whole separation of church and state thing, which should be kind of obvious. I mean, the military is, pretty much de facto federal government.
Yeah, reminding you that we've only got about 90 minutes left in the show, Joe.
Shush. Now, the thing that I really don't like about chaplains, and I don't know if this is still the case, but at least when I was in, chaplains kind of doubled not only as your spiritual guidance, they also serve the role of psychiatric evaluation on some situations. When someone who believes in an imaginary friend in the sky is making the decisions as to whether or not I'm sane in the middle of a battlefield, is where I start putting up that big red question mark, neon above my head.
No, it makes perfect sense to me.
And I've had a few run-ins with that situation.
I can well imagine. We've heard. Actually, come to think of it, I forget who it was. I think it was American Atheists that was working on trying to get atheist chaplains actually in and recognized in the military specifically.
We don't.
Well, that's an active program.
I was going to say, isn't that an ongoing?
I don't remember. The last I had heard on the U.S. side, they were still trying to push for that very specifically. I know. Well, you were saying that, Brigid, that you were a believer at the time. Do you remember hearing anything about this, or where that is right now for us?
Right now, we still don't have any humanist or secular chaplains. Maybe right now the argument is, well, it's not really a religion, so we don't really need any, but we do. And my big argument for having those is they do offer, mental health counseling, but it's off the record, so to speak.
Yeah.
One thing about going to go see a counselor when you're active duty is that stuff stays in your records. And, it can keep you from being promoted later on and things like that. But if you go see a chaplain, then, no one's the wiser for that. As far as I know, there is still a push to get, secular chaplains, but it's not getting anywhere yet. Just have to keep trying.
They do. There was a radio show. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one, but I think it was with Aaron Ra, maybe. But they had somebody on who was a active member of the military, and she had organized. They have a meeting every weekend instead of church. They provided an alternative to church.
Mm-hmm.
For the Sunday service that normally before was obligatory, I think.
I remember hearing that on a show, and I can't place what show it is now either.
Yeah, and she was just like going through all the hurdles that the chaplain or the military were like putting up in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's all kinds of fun. Now, Chris, if I remember right, Jediism has been recognized as a formal, actual religion in England at this point. Isn't that the case?
Not really. It's been over the last couple of censuses. over here, there's been a push to have people write down their religion as Jedi. And so the census authorities included it as a category just because there were so many people ticking it. But basically, it's counted as like other on the form, and it's not actually recognised as a religion as such. Because they have like no organisation or temples or anything.
Not on this planet.
Yeah, well, not within like the jurisdiction of UK law or whatever. So
You take the bus number 46B.
Wait. UK law is limited by jurisdiction now?
I was just going to throw out there, it's only been within the last couple of years that the military's even let you identify as an atheist on your dog tags. That's fairly recent.
Yeah, that much I remember. I think it was when I had ended up talking with. A couple of years ago, I got the chance to talk with Seth Andrews on my Wednesday show and kind of talked a little bit about that. And yeah, he was saying that it was relatively recent for atheist or Jain or anything outside of the quote-unquote big three, I guess is the best way of putting it. So there was like no nuance, and Wiccan was coming up and a couple of others. So, nice of them to be able to start moving, that movable type around.
It looks like it was summer of 2014, so it was very recent. When I came in, they would put no religious preference, and that was about the closest you could get to atheist.
Yeah. Somebody should start the religion. Fuck you.
But they do recognize Jedi now.
Well,
at least the Marines does.
See, the biggest problem with the whole thing is the last P.O. box was kind of evaporated for the High Council, so that's not a good spot right there. I guess. I don't know.
Actually, I heard they moved to a P.O. box now, so it's kind of mobile.
Well, that's something at least.
I was going to mention the one particular guy who was on my team who had the Jedi Knight on his dog tags. He was the sort that took it a little too far.
Oh.
Allow me.
That's all we need, Jedi extremists.
Allow me.
boy.
No. Allow me to illustrate.
It's a Sith.
Great guy. Awesome guy. But he dunked $10,000 on a complete Darth Vader costume, complete with torso light bright, and got married in it.
Let's. I was about to say, let's be fair. We know some people that have done very similar things before.
And I'm not judging. What I am judging is that he then named his first child, his son, Anakin.
Yeah, cue the face palm.
I told him to his face, you realize when this child comes to terms with what you have done to him, he will kill you.
He will turn to the dark side.
And he said point blank, nothing would make me happier.
Okay, so now oh God, this is...
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wheel is spinning, but the hamster is dead. Or, excuse me, the hamster is one with the Force.
Yeah.
Isn't this like a whole setup for, what was it, Hamlet? I'm trying to remember what the hell it was now. I could be wrong.
Yeah, there is something kind of Shakespearean about this.
Yes. All right,
Well, they did coin Star Wars as a space opera, so
They did.
Well, makes perfect sense. Brigid, I'm going to get to your link in just a couple of seconds, but Katie, who is watching live, by the way, thank you very much, had went ahead and put this up into the Q&A for us, and might help out a little bit. And she puts, quote, maybe a year back, Seth Andrews interviewed a young man that was a member of the Military Freedom from Religion group. He was in school to be a constitutional attorney. I vaguely remember this one. I don't remember who it was, and I don't really remember as much of the interview as I'd like at the moment. considering all the podcasts that I listen to, and I'm so far behind. Oh my god! But yeah, there's some people who are really, really fighting hard in that angle to help out the military side for us here in the U.S. because, well, you go into the military, you don't exactly have all the same rights and privileges as an ordinary citizen does. Exactly, kind of.
Yeah, somewhere in the fine print, certain amendments no longer apply to you.
At least temporarily, minimally.
Well, for the duration.
Yeah. And Brigid, the link that you just threw up for us in our thing, I'm curious as to what it was that you got over with that because I'm afraid to open links right now because I don't want to jinx anything right now. So what was that?
I guess the Cliff Notes version is that there are more atheists in the military than there are Southern Baptists. Yep, most of the chaplains are Southern Baptist.
Nice.
So in other words, their plans to try to make everybody Southern Baptist in the military, it ain't working out so well.
Doesn't look like it. But I thought that was kind of
Just an
interesting.
observation,
That there are more of us than them. Said in 2009, Southern Baptists outnumbered atheists, but now they're only like half Southern Baptist compared to atheists.
That's a big switch.
Yeah,
That's a huge switch in just 5-6 years.
Yeah, so the writing's on the wall, but nobody's reading it.
Yeah.
They're like graffiti.
Well, in that case, what they need people with a bit more of an artistic flair to make that graffiti because, you can really make it pop if you put some effort into it.
Sorry, I'm retired.
Well,
Oh, wow. Now this is interesting.
but if they're walking by with the blinders on, going, I don't see.
This
Yeah.
is really interesting. Roman Catholics make up 20% of Christians in the military, and the nuns, the non-affiliated, is also 20%.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just had a very bizarre image of nuns on the battlefield.
I did too.
Yes, not.
Yeah, I did
mean,
too when she said
Those
that.
habits are going to get tangled up in the barbed wire. It's gonna be
I hesitate to even consider illustrating the number of times I have heard something, at least equivalent thereof, of Deus Vult while serving.
Deus Vult? Sorry?
Deus Vult is Latin for God wills it. It was the
Volte.
call to arms during the Crusades.
Oy.
Yeah.
Volte.
Now I remember. No e at the end. It's Deus Vult.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Which language?
Latin.
Latin.
Okay. No, it's just that being that this would have been something that I would have associated with the Roman Catholic Church, I was figuring it could have either been Latin or Italian at the time. So that's why I just wanted to kind of clarify that.
Well, aside from that point, there was a time when I had first actually started making it public knowledge that I was an atheist, and this was back when I was in the military, fairly early in my military career, after my first deployment, and it was because of that I was recommended to see the chaplain at one point. Yeah.
Okay.
And, the question came up, after all I've seen in the world, how could I possibly believe that there is no God? I had a very simple retort that pretty much ended the entire situation. After all I've seen, how could I possibly believe there is one?
That was my first thought.
I can certainly understand that. I mean, oh God, we can only. God, this is going to sound so wrong. We can only imagine what people in the military have seen and gone through, and there is no way that we could truly appreciate without going through that. And let's face it, I don't think anybody would really want to or would find any way ethically of coming up with anything close to that. Putting somebody into an Oculus Rift and putting them right into the middle of the battlefield for Saving Private Ryan would probably be about the closest equivalent anybody would ever want to and would never want to.
I would love to see all these shit-talking Xbox 8-year-olds that play Call of Duty find themselves in like as close to as good as we can get with virtual reality without actually putting them in harm's way. Just drop them in there until the line starts to blur and see just how badass they think they are.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to that in a second. Katie, Katie has gone ahead and put something else in the Q&A.
Uh-oh.
And I know this is not what she meant. So, Katie put, quote, nuns on the battlefield? All I can think is of 2 mules for Sister Sarah. I am an incredibly bad person, and I don't care that I am an atheist. I'm going to hell. I am going totally straight to hell. I'm not even going to bother going to the grave first.
We
I'm
weren't
just
going
gone.
to mention the Mexico trip.
No, I wasn't. But you know what? It was tequila. It was just one night. It was just one night.
Oh, but nuns, that's a bad habit of mine.
It is.
The puns, they be rolling now.
You go to the corner.
You know what? With how fluffy these girls are in their habits, there is no corner. Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna break that habit.
The mood now is wrong. You've already gone ahead and used that one.
I must be a bad person because I keep thinking 2 nuns, 1 cup.
It could be worse. And
I came back for this.
2 mules.
yeah, you did.
2 mules, 1 nun. Oh.
Appreciate that, Joseph. I'm gonna have Nick come on back and explain what actually goes into like delivery for jokes. You can't strike twice with the same joke, like one after the other. I mean, it's as black and white as it could possibly be.
Even when the first time was a fail.
Really, I just had a good. God damn it! This is why it sucks to be the host. You have the great lines, and nobody appreciates you for what you got. You know what? Screw this. Screw this noise. You know what? That's it. We're going home. Oh, right. All right. Now that I've had my good fun with this whole thing, and I'm going straight to hell. I'm going straight to. Those of you that understand this reference, this is Gideon's fault. I blame Gideon. You don't know who I'm talking about if you don't know who I'm talking about.
Oh boy.
Some of us know who I'm talking about.
Some of us wish we didn't.
You're welcome. Could somebody explain to me exactly what the 2 mules for Sister Sarah actually is? In such a way that maybe I won't go to hell? No, actually, it's not going to happen. I'm going to hell. Screw this. What?
Katie, you might want to extrapolate on that.
Yeah, because.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, 2 Mules for Sister Sarah was a movie in 1970 about a nun who is on the run in Mexico and is saved from cowboys.
Hold it! Stop! This is not helping. This is not helping.
Oh, come on. Clint Eastwood.
It's still not helping.
I'm thinking there must have been some federales involved now.
Not helping. No. Go ahead. Finish it off, Dallin.
Well, like I said, it's a Clint Eastwood movie. Yeah, so she's saved from some people by a guy named Hogan, who I assume is played by Eastwood. And the pair become good friends, but Sarah never does tell him the true reason behind her being outlawed. This is right from IMDb.
Okay.
So that's where the title comes from, and I realize that given who we are, given given where our minds tend to go, I can fully understand, Shujin, just exactly where you went. And can I just ask a small favor?
No.
Just get out. You're crowding me, okay?
All right.
Alan, did you see the bit where it turns out that later on in the film she reveals that she's not actually a nun, but a hooker proposing as a nun? I don't know
It's good to know that
how
roleplay was alive and well even in the Old West.
In that case, 2 meals would totally make sense.
Oh.
This is great. You know what, by the way, those of you that hadn't yet seen the movie, spoiler alert.
It was 1970. I think we're safe.
Yeah,
You know what?
this is not the Tijuana Donkey Show, okay?
I was born that year.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a relation.
I don't even know.
And I keep
Okay,
imagining Clint Eastwood dressed as a nun.
Do we want to learn actually what her secret is? Because Wikipedia actually says.
Go ahead, spoil it for me.
It says that he later learns that the woman is a nun working with a group of Mexican revolutionaries who are fighting the French. So it's not that she's into horses or donkeys.
Though she is a prostitute posing as a nun.
It doesn't say that. Yeah, it does
She never
not.
reveals that she is not a nun, but a prostitute posing as a nun.
Okay. Oh wait, yep, there it is. Okay.
Believe me, I'm well versed in my spaghetti westerns, so
Okay. Yeah. There you go. So she's got 2 secrets. She's a revolutionary and she's a hooker.
Yeah, why not?
I don't even know where to go with this anymore because I'm just going to hell. I'm going straight to hell. Ain't nothing done about it at this point.
Yeah.
I think there's a
Driving the bus.
meme. Yep, I think there's a photo meme right now going out that says, "I'm going to hell in every religion." Tonight has proved it. And you know what? More power to us. I'll make sure that the air conditioning is on. Everybody get in the back of the bus.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Did I say
achievement
that out loud?
unlocked. Hell for everybody.
Yeah.
Wait, you have air conditioning? You have air conditioning here? Yeah, sure. Fuck up the ozone.
Sure, why not?
Hey,
If you get that
had a
reference-
truck that had 290 air conditioning. 2 windows, 90 miles an hour.
Yep. I know that one
Don't
too.
Don't start because I'm still in mourning over my F-150 with the little triangular fold out windows.
Ah, yes. I remember that truck. I had pretty much the same model for a few years.
Yeah, when a few cubic meters of very thick white and blue smoke are coming out from underneath the hood, it's kind of time to go.
Yeah. See, I never had that problem. I moved away from home.
No, not only Yeller.
Yeah, I moved away from home. My dad sold the truck. He was a next door neighbor. He sold it for more than he bought it for. I'm not sure how he pulled that off, given the abuse I gave that truck.
Wow.
But then, in a moment of extreme teenage angst, the next door neighbor's daughter set the truck on fire.
Wow.
I will never forget. I will never forget it when my mom phoned me and told me about that. Is, oh yeah, so and so set the truck on fire. I'm like, and I honestly, the first words that came out of my mouth after that was, "Well, Mom, aren't you kind of glad the rest of us weren't that starving for attention?" There was like a 3-second pause, and she busted out laughing.
Yeah, it was their vehicle at that time, right?
Yes.
Yep. So it doesn't really much matter.
But still, I drove many a mile in that truck, and now, granted, there weren't as very many memorable moments in that vehicle as there was in the predecessor to that vehicle. And no, get your minds out of the gutter. Nothing like that happened. Okay, look, in the predecessor to that vehicle, which was a very old, rusted-out Chevy, if anything had happened, I probably would have busted through the floorboards, okay?
Well, funny.
Like, that fucker was rusted through before I got it.
my parents used to drive a Barracuda, and
At least it
yeah.
wasn't a Pinto.
No, it was a yellow Barracuda with a black racing stripe. And what I loved about it, being around 4 or 5 years old when they had it, was that the floorboards in the back seat had rusted through, and there was a good size hole in the bottom.
Yep.
So whenever we were going anywhere, I would scoop up a handful of pebbles from the driveway and hide them with me. And then while we were driving, I would sit there and throw stones through the hole for fun.
Yeah, I wonder how many chipped windshields have you to thank.
Probably. I mean, I was like 5 years old. I didn't fucking know. So, I would sit there and
It's funny
throw
that
rocks.
It's funny that Dallin should mention that before his F-150 he had a Chevy, because the same case for me, except we all know what happened with my Chevy.
Yeah.
Gravity! It works for everyone, especially when you're going sliding backwards off an icy road in the middle of West Virginia down a 300-foot drop off the side of a mountain.
Yeah,
that
no.
Yeah, not good.
Mine didn't quite work out like that.
American all-steel construction. It's why I'm here.
Yes, and if memory serves, that was the stint you spent as a test pilot, right?
Well, there is a reason why I'm still referred to as DJ Barrel Roll.
Yes. There is.
Technically, it was a flip. Actually, it was several flips. Because rolling, a barrel roll is a corkscrew motion. So those of you who just do a whoosh in your flight simulator, that's not a barrel roll.
Nope, that's an
Aileron roll.
aileron.
And
Starboard ailetutor. The starboard ailetutor.
and two, a roll implies side over side. No. I went off the road, back bumper landed, I went up, front bumper landed, I went up, back bumper landed, I went up, I came down on the hood.
So you basically did a half gainer and just didn't nail the landing. It's an East German judge that got you on the scores. You know that. Some people get that joke, and there you go. By the way,
I do.
All while Alice Cooper's "No More Mr. Nice Guy" was playing. I was listening to. You know how Alice Cooper has his own late night radio show broadcast? I think out of Arizona.
I do now.
He does a live radio show, and he'll play all the classic hard metal rock, his music, Ozzy Osbourne, yada yada yada. And so that's what I was listening to when this event happened.
Crap.
Wow.
I remember the song.
Well, somehow or other, I think, considering the trauma, I think it's been pretty much imprinted into your cranium. Somehow that doesn't totally surprise me.
Yeah, so has quite a few tool marks and.
Yeah. Shrapnel, we got it. All right, moving along, Iron Man. Okay, so backtracking just for a couple of seconds from what was said about, how could you believe, how could you not believe about the God question, Katie? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to up the number to 4 at this point. Katie, you fucking nailed it. Yes, if Human is watching, yes, it's 4 at this point. And she put, there is Auschwitz. Therefore, there is no God. I could have kept that one and held that one in until the end of the show and used that as a closer because, wow.
Has anyone in the panel here ever seen it was a bit of a B, well, it was definitely a B movie, but it was called Killing Season?
No.
It stars John Travolta and Robert De Niro.
Oh.
And no, the reason I bring it up, I watched it one night. I was at my brother's place, and this came on. Actually, we watched it on Netflix. And Travolta delivers a very interesting piece of philosophy about God, which I thought was interesting, and it kind of ties into what Katie just said here. I can't do the quote directly because I can't remember it. I was actually looking for it on the net here. But basically what he said was that there has to be a God because man could not possibly be as cruel as they are without God.
Hmm.
And of course, he delivers it in a fairly decent Bosnian accent, which I'm not even going to try. But like I said, if you can find the actual quote, like if you can see it on YouTube or something like that, or actually go and watch the movie, it just kind of struck a chord. I was just kind of beginning, like when I saw this movie, I was just, just starting to listen to Seth Anderson, so I was kind of on my way to where I am now. And then I heard this, I went, okay, the writer of whoever wrote the script was doing pretty deep there, because there's no way Travolta could have come up with that himself.
Yeah.
But still, it raises an interesting point. And whether you believe it or not, you think about how many wars are started in the name of a god.
Yeah.
So it kind of is, a god would exist, otherwise you wouldn't see the cruelty of the wars that we're having.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
but obviously it doesn't actually take a real god, just a belief in one.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. And I'm way too sober to really get too deep into this, and well, because of blood thinners, I really can't drink right now. So, actually, I wonder, could I avoid one day of dosing myself with my blood thinners?
No.
If I drank whiskey.
No, I won't let you. I won't let you. I will drive my ass up there and I will punch you.
Relax, okay? Those of you who are watching, this is why I'm getting kind of sick of the blood thinners, is because of this. If you're listening to the audio version, I'm holding up 2 packaged syringes of blood thinner, which I have to take every night in the gut for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I was about to say I will punch you in the kneecap, because that's about as high as I can reach on you.
Yeah, you'd have to get on a couple of step stools if you wanted to throat punch me.
Yeah, my arm's too short to box with God. Wait, no, I'm sorry. There's a play by that name. Sorry, it was a good enough reference. I just wanted to go ahead and use it. We've had a great run. And I'm not saying that to preface this as saying, and thank you for having watched, and we're wrapping the whole thing. No, don't lead into this.
Bye.
We've had a fun. I don't know about the rest of you guys. This has been a combination of fun and by the seat of my pants fear of trying to learn to get over myself, to learn to think on my feet, and to work through a lot of issues in my head and coming up with creative ideas and perspectives on stuff. I have had a blast doing this. There have been a couple of times where it's been really, really tough, and there's been other times where it's just been absolutely mind-bendingly entertaining and enjoyable and riveting for me to listen for all the people that we've talked to and whatnot. I want to go through and kind of talk a little bit. What is it that you guys have enjoyed so much over the last, 100-ish episodes or however many it's been for you guys? I want to tell you that the thing that I feel the most joy at thinking about, the most pride, is when we had Ashley, who had joined us for a couple of episodes, who had originally come out to Cash over on Atheists on Air, because she didn't have a place, a voice, and basically got in touch and said, "Come on with us." And for a couple of weeks she was on with us, and she found her voice. At least I'm hoping so. I haven't heard from her in a while, but that's one of the things I feel so proud for. So I don't know about the rest of you guys. What is it that you guys want to think back on it and look at and go, that was pretty good. I'm glad I wasn't in charge of that.
Alcohol.
I just love the meeting all of you guys. Also, as you said, Eugene, trying to get over myself, get used to speaking on a public basis, trying to form coherent thoughts at 5:30 on a Sunday morning. And
That's an accomplishment in and of itself.
Yeah, and we've covered stuff that's really like made me think, and really challenged me, and stuff that's just had me laughing for days.
I'm proud to hear that. That's really good. I like to know that that there is comedy to be had with the whole damn thing too.
Yeah, and having when we've had guests on, it's great that we've been able to attract the guests, some of the guests we have, and on some of the listeners that have been on occasionally or after the show. It's been great to meet these people that I wouldn't otherwise have done.
Come on, guys! Don't just stand around like a bunch of cadets.
What he said.
You bitch.
There she goes.
Nicely done. I'd otherwise applaud, but I need that other hand in order to work the mouse to change
The mouse.
Shut up.
If I could do the beeps, sweeps, and the creeps, I would.
Got the
The-
The
the-
I'm not going to do it. I will not do it. I refuse.
Okay, would somebody please inform the host what the frick you talking
The
about?
beeps. You don't know about the beeps and the sweeps and the creeps?
You know, the beeps, and the sweeps,
And the creeps.
and the creeps. That's not all he's lost. Fusion, if you can't figure this out yet, I'm revoking your Mel Brooks card.
I got it now.
What's happening now is happening now.
Go back to then.
We can't.
Why not?
We just missed it.
When?
Just now.
Just now.
Those of you that are watching on the video feed, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for
We
that.
may have seen that a few too many times.
Yeah, and you know, I should have picked up on it because, okay, the name of the show, holy crap, The Vlogcast, was a direct homage to Spaceballs, The Lunchbox, Spaceballs, The Flamethrower. That's
The kids love this one.
that's
Spaceballs,
exactly
the
the reason.
toilet paper.
Yeah, because, I mean that was exactly the reason why I threw it in there. Not because I thought it was one of the best movies ever. I don't, not by a long shot. But it was just such a great
I think it's one of the
piece.
best movies ever.
That's fine. You're entitled to your wrong opinion. I don't think it's the best ever, but it was just a great item right there because it was like so over the top because it was Mel is doing his thing. He was a 2,000-year-old man without like being 2,000 years old again.
Yeah, no. Mel had a good idea. He got the right cast, and he frickin' ran with it.
Oh, yeah.
And you did a great job of it.
Now keep them up until I'm gone.
I gotta tell you, I am old enough and privileged enough that I actually saw that in the theater.
So you're wrong on your opinions and you're old. That's great. That's a great combination.
Well, okay, if we're going to play the age game here, here's one for you.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm old enough that I saw Blazing Saddles in the theater.
Yep.
I can one-up you. I saw that in a drive-in movie theater.
Well, that's where I saw the first Star Wars movie.
You know, they originally
Saw it at the
intended.
drive-in too.
I saw Bambi and Mary Poppins as a double feature in a drive-in theater.
You know, I never saw those films in the theater.
No.
Just lack of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, what was you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, they originally intended the part of Bart in Blazing Saddles to be played by Richard Pryor.
Mm.
Yeah.
But he was unavailable at the time. Remember, this was the 70s.
Yes.
Yeah.
74 it came out.
So, he was unavailable. He was in New York doing things.
Yeah, he was making a living.
Not what I meant by doing things.
No, he was changing the bottom, the skin color of the bottom of his nose to something more white and powdery.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
But they did give him a writing role. He did help write for it.
Well, that's
Oh.
that's good. So Joseph, come on. What have you enjoyed? Come on, spill the beans. Pander to my ego.
Oh, well, well, getting over my vlogcast anxiety, but no, same as Chris. I mean, really, just shooting the shit with you guys, and getting different perspectives on things, and yeah, well, things are a bit different over there, or over there than over here, and yeah, it's just like a constant reminder how things are going over to that end, and that there are things that can be done.
Yeah, for you, you know what? Thinking about it now, for you, it's you've got a little bit more. Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say it this way. You've got the more unique perspective. You've got the more specialized perspective, probably the better way of putting it, because you used to live in Canada, and now you're in Europe. So
Get
you
it from both ends? Is that what you're trying to say?
yeah, sort of. You've got the knowledge of what things were like societally. Granted, 20 years plus back at this point, but you learned what it was like societally in Canada first, and then moved to mainland Europe.
What he's
and
trying to
France.
say is you have a rule for comparison.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the best way of putting it.
It took me about 10 years to really understand. When I came here, I traveled the world a bit before coming here, and as soon as I came here, it's just something made me stay. I just fell in love with here as soon as I got here, and it took me around 10 years to really figure out. And part of that was just something, when I was growing up, there was just something, I had this feeling of something wrong. And I wasn't able to really put a finger on it until I came here. And I think it has a lot to do with the individualism of the French people.
Not to mention their propensity for finding amphibians appetizing.
Oh, anything that moves.
Even what moves very, very slowly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Getting those things out of the shell. But you have to talk to them for hours to coax them out.
Face, you just hold it up and you blow really hard. You got to make it doesn't pass your ear though.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Joey.
Yeah, I totally love that. Yeah, but yeah, it's really helped me identify what's going on in North America. I mean, with the obey society that reigns there. I mean, even among atheists, it still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, that being the case, Chris, I mean, international travel for you guys, being that you are native of the British Isles, international travel over there is far more common than it is over here. Mainly because, I mean, shit. Let's be honest. The size of countries is analogous to some of our middle-sized states here in the U.S. and easily, 2 or 3 countries could fit inside of provinces in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's got to be a much bigger perspective, just in general, of the general public being able to travel a lot more, especially with the way that the EU is running stuff. No.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to travel. I don't have as much money as I'd like to be able to afford to do it as often as I'd like. But it's fairly easy on there. Obviously, if you drive more than about 4 hours in any direction here, you start running into the ocean.
Swimming.
That was the running joke when I was living on Long Island. You drive too far, you hit water, you can always turn around. You can never get lost on Long Island. So it's the same thing almost.
Yeah, you see here, if I drive 4 hours east, I'm in Saskatchewan, which is it's not entirely hell, but it's pretty damn close. If we're going,
Yeah.
though, you see, you get to the Alberta Saskatchewan border, and if you squint really hard, you can see Manitoba.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saskatchewan is flat. Okay.
Did you know there's going to be a conference, the first conference in Saskatchewan? I want to say April, and they've got the Four Horsemen booked.
Shit,
no,
keep me
Not
posted.
no, wait, yeah, no, wait a minute, not the Four Horsemen, the Unholy Trinity. That's right, but still, they've got the.
Yeah, you see, here I'm thinking for a second. There are Four Horsemen.
We
When
don't
did
have
they
four
reanimate
anymore.
Christopher Hitchens?
No, it's the Unholy Trinity they've got booked, and Nate Phelps.
Oh.
What are they using as bait?
Yeah.
Nate is an amazing
Saskatchewan's mostly
speaker.
farming, so there's probably a lot of babies out there that they can probably send in for roasting and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to mention, as I recall, any opportunity that's fairly nearby, as far as Nate's concerned, he's proud, as I've seen so far. He's proud and happy to just go just because somebody asked.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the organizers, Corey, he has a podcast called the Brainstorm Podcast, and Nate was on their show last night. I was listening and chatting with them a little bit. So, yeah, I have to go and figure out what the conference is though, because they don't have it written on here.
If you once you get some information on that, let me know, because
Yes.
that's feasible enough. I could drive there, and I would. I've been itching to get out to some kind of secular or skeptic convention,
Yeah.
but there have been a couple that I've wanted to go to, and suddenly realize they're not as secular or skeptical as they used to be for those reasons, and so I've kind of backed off.
Yeah.
And I'm seriously looking for, like, I'd love to get down to ReasonCon, but given when that is,
Well,
that
ReasonCon isn't happening this year. It's next year.
okay. Well, okay.
What
But
do you
just
mean by-
travel budgets being what they are right now, especially if I'm going south of the border, I mean, our dollar's not
Yeah.
doing so well right now.
What do you
It's
mean
Yeah.
by not as secular? Sorry.
Just there's lately with a couple of conventions that were known for being very secular, very skeptical, very atheistic. There have been some elements that are sort of weaseling their way into them
Like?
that are slowly taking it over. Just certain social things.
Oh,
I
like
don't want to go too far on record on the show to say what it is, because I really don't want to. There are some cans of worms I don't want to kick over, or some hornet's nests I don't want to kick over right now.
Well, I'm free from all obligations. You're
Were
saying
these explicitly like atheist conventions, or were they just other conventions that happened to be largely secular?
Well, they're largely secular. Definitely have heavy atheistic elements. Ones I really wanted to go to. Well, for instance, I really wanted to attend Nexus. The great big one.
Yeah.
Or as George Robb puts it, Nyetisa.
Yeah.
But recently there's been some controversy of they actually had to deplatform one of the speakers.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with the reasons behind why they did
Me
it.
neither.
So that one I've kind of crossed off my list.
Okay,
I would
hold it. Before anybody says anything else, we are not going to discuss the individuals. We're not going to discuss the platform for it. That is something that can be done on your own times, listeners and viewers. You guys can go ahead and find out about that and discuss that all you want and read everything you want on it. We're not going to touch it because that's not our thing. We're not going to go there. Just want to make sure that everybody understands that right away.
Thank you. And that's okay. I was dancing around a little bit because I know
Yes.
it's out of scope.
Yes. And not
that's
to worry.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's one of the things I love about the show is that we tend to we do our best to stay on track with why we're doing this in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that because there's so many different pieces about that, and truth be told, we don't want to be dealing with that one, and that's why we're not going to name names. We're not going to talk about the particulars of it. That's what's happened, and stuff like this happens at conferences and speaking engagements all the time. Learn it about it and read up about it for your own damn self, or talk to somebody else's podcast. That's the only piece I wanted to make sure that we got out of the way, because that's my job to do that. Sorry, Chris. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I stomped on you, but
No
please,
problem,
by all
man.
means, go.
No, it's where I was going would probably be where you didn't want to go. So
Yeah.
Okay.
What I would say, I just wanted to say, it's called Shift to Reason. Is there's a Facebook page for it. Saskatchewan's first Shift to Reason conference. And I'm just trying to see if they have...
Oh, they got a plug on Scathing Atheist this past, I think.
Yeah, they've been doing really well at getting the plugs out. And it's April 30th.
April 30th.
Yeah, so you better be up to snuff by then.
It's a, well, it's not like I have to fly there.
This is true.
Um,
I'm just meaning don't get any more broken between now and then.
You know what? If that's going to be the case, we're going to set up a new thing on Patreon. We're going to get $350 from people. We're going to go ahead and buy a 3D printer from Barnes and Noble so that we can replace his pieces. That's what we're going to have to do.
Okay, tell you what, you give me a working set of lungs that are clot-free. If you can 3D print those and get them into me, okay, fine, I'm all for it.
Lungs are overrated. I'll breathe.
I'll contest you on that one, though. Okay, when I did a flight of stairs and it felt like I ran like 100 yards at a dead sprint, yeah, I actually learned to really value my lungs at that point.
I can't imagine why.
I suppose now's a bad time to bring up that when I was in the military, I would often, chain smoke like 3 cigarettes before doing, a 2 to 15 mile run each morning.
Yeah, that couldn't have been very good for you. Let me be the first to say thank you for not doing that anymore. Shut up. Let me have my own little private fantasy life right now. Okay?
Yeah, now I just smoke a lot and I don't run at all.
Great. That's just really great. Brigid, come on. What? Don't just go with putting all in with everybody else. Come on. What have you enjoyed the hell out of for yourself at this point? I know there's pieces that you've gotten self-satisfaction for now.
Being able to vent from time to time. That's really good.
Thank you. About goddamn time. Jesus, I've been waiting for you to go ahead and admit to that.
I love to vent. It's great. And there's, nobody else who would put up with me doing it, so thank you.
Wow, really? Nobody
Yeah.
else?
I have to be sweet to everybody else. I don't have to be sweet to you guys.
Wow. Okay. Anybody else want to go ahead and jump on that one?
That's what friends are for.
You know what, Chris? You're far enough away. Go ahead. You go ahead and lambast them.
I know I'm fine with people venting.
You know what? Fine. Screw you too, man. I see how this is. Join us for 102 when we're going to have an entirely new crew here because I can't stand this crap going on around me. Thank you so very much.
I said nothing so far.
Yes, and you're an enabler for it. God damn it.
I love all of you, but you know that, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
All joking aside, yes, I am very proud you're with us today.
Hey, I at least got to get drunk with Brigid before, so
Yeah.
That's always a bonus.
Yeah.
So let's see. We got this just so much stuff, man. I wanna know, what is it that we're proud about at this point? I already told you that there's a piece I'm going to save for the end of the whole thing on that angle, but I'm proud to have all of you guys as my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just talking to the panel. Those of you that have been watching, and those of you that are actually watching at this point, I've gotten compliments before. I've gotten people who have commented before that they feel like when they watch the show, that they feel like we have a connection. And not just me as the host, but from all of the hosts. And I want you to understand that I have always taken this from the standpoint of, yes, what I'm looking at right now is a piece of plastic and a minor amount of glass and silicon and wires and power and whatnot. I'm looking into a camera. And if you want to see how difficult it is to try to connect with somebody, try it for yourself sometime with your phone or whatever. Look straight into the camera and try to picture that's somebody who's watching you right there. That is another person. I have always taken this from the standpoint of, I want to talk to you. I want you to think that I'm right there with you and that we're all right there with you the whole time. I am proud that some people have actually felt that connection, that we're right there with you. And even though I haven't heard it from people with the podcast feed yet, I hope that you kind of get that feeling too. It's not an easy thing to try to accomplish, and truth be told, I ain't giving this up to try and go into actual broadcasting because screw that noise. I like being my own boss. The last thing I want is to have a friggin' J. Jonah Jameson over my shoulder telling me, you should be doing this, damn it.
With all that said, though, you, yes, you, get your damn finger out of your nose.
Yeah, Tech. Well, he's asleep at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what? If he fell asleep with his finger up his nose, there's nothing we can do for him.
We'll just fix
Other
it.
than to leave the stream on.
Yeah, the only regret there is that we don't have video of it.
I'd rather not speculate on what orifices may or may not be occupied.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait a second, Brigid, you would know better. Is that orify? Orifices?
Orifices.
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 Sure.
It's
That's
easy
it.
too.
Orify, I think that was the last season of Stargate.
I didn't watch it. I was a Babylon 5 guy. I don't know from nothing, man.
I watched both, so
Yeah.
You would.
yeah.
You know, I say that now, and now I'm thinking back to History of the World Part 1. Hey, Oedipus! And it's, oh, God, some people know the line.
You're welcome.
Yeah. This is bad.
You know, one of the main reasons I watched Babylon 5 is because I had a crush on Bruce Boxleitner.
Oh, why the hell not?
Oh, yeah. Scarecrow all the way, baby.
Tron. Don't forget Tron. He was Tron. Back in the
He
day.
was who?
Tron.
Yeah, I know. I never saw that because I saw the ads and I'm like, okay, I really like Bruce Boxleitner, but not that much. Sorry. It just didn't do anything for me.
Well, for what it's worth, if you get, okay, this goes for everybody. If you get Tron, the original Tron 1980 Blu-ray DVD, Blu-ray, and listen to the commentary about it, Tron was a work of art that is amazing to me now. I had no idea the level of artistry that went into that. It was amazing, really.
You think about the technology they had at the time and what they were able to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, it was just funny too. Netflix just put, at least the Canadian one, just put Tron Legacy, the sequel, onto their feed. So now, I saw that movie in 3D. I own the Blu-ray. And I just screw it and watched it again last night because it's a good movie. And okay, you know what? You and I were entitled to disagree on that. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm entitled to be wrong.
It seems these days any movie that's come out in the 21st century, Shujin doesn't like.
No. That's not entirely true. Finish your point.
Okay, all I'm saying is that I almost wanted to go back and watch the original again. You know, like just sort of have a Tron weekend out of it. You know, just I like the whole idea.
Talk about a slap in the face, though.
Hmm?
The movie that pretty much kickstarted the entire CGI revolution in film was denied an Oscar because of its use of CGI in film.
Which movie was that?
Tron.
Oh.
Didn't even think about that. Wow.
It's like the very
that.
next year you start seeing movies that are employing it and, you know, getting the nod. But Tron, no. They got shunned.
Well, that's what happens when you're on the ahead of the curve, I guess. That happens.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
yeah, you know,
look at-
they used to burn people at the stake for that sort of thing.
well,
What,
Yeah.
CGI?
here's another question. Oh, okay, no, okay, going on that vein. Here we go again on another tangent, but
Nothing new.
Well,
Welcome to
okay,
Holy
yeah.
Crap, welcome to Holy Crap, the Buddy Hole.
I'm
Those, holy crap, the tangent show.
No,
anyways.
holy tangent.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking.
But look at Star Wars.
Why didn't I take the blue pill?
But look at Star Wars. I don't think it ever received any awards like Oscars or anything like that. But what did we get out of it? We got one of the best choreographed space battles of its time. I mean, the models and everything, the way they did it, it looked so damn realistic, it was frightening.
Mm.
You suddenly had a trend now where science fiction movies now had epic orchestral scores. I mean, let's face it.
Mm.
You know, when the first Star Trek movie came out, afterwards, you think about it. You know, there's, you know, John Williams does such a wonderful thing, and then Alexander Courage comes out with his theme for Star Trek, and that becomes a trend.
Mm.
It's true.
Kubrick.
You've got special effects coming out the wazoo in Star Wars. So again, like Tron, a trendsetter, an effects heavy movie, but also an inspiration further down the road for other movies to do kind of the same thing, and they're the ones getting the awards, but they can all trace it back to this, you know, original.
Yeah, and Heretic Woman, for what it's worth, yes, Kubrick, and I'm assuming that you're thinking of 2001, but in this particular case, 2001 relied a lot. Its most memorable piece was, well, there was two of them. Oh God, how the hell is it pronounced? Damn it, I can't remember how it's pronounced.
Blue Danube.
Well, Blue Danube, I knew.
You
I don't-
mean also Sprach Zarathustra?
Right, Schleigelhofen. Thank you. These are pieces that are well established. We know them, even if I can't pronounce them. But they were not made for. I guess is probably the biggest piece about it.
Another one would be O Fortuna.
Not familiar with.
Carl Orff? You would know it to hear it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's not so. It's been used in sci-fi, I think, but it's been used in a bazillion movies for dramatic emphasis.
It's okay. Actually there's a piece I wanna kind of take us out on for this because of no problem for where you're kind of going with this, and this is something that I've seen in society, in technology, over the course of my lifetime so far, and I'm saying that I'm not saying that glibly at all. The trend that I've always seen is, and I mean this is nothing surprising or new. Stuff starts with the large groups who can really afford it, and stuff slowly gets smaller and easier and simpler and cheaper, and then suddenly, boom, everybody's got it. Everybody's doing it. Doesn't matter. The thing that really caught my attention originally was printers. It used to be that you would want to go to a place like a Office Max or a Office Depot or something like that, because they had a printing office in there, and they would run copies of stuff that you needed and bound and put for a report for everybody in your office, and then you could do it in the office because the color printers, collators, and binding machines were just a couple of $1,000s, and you could just do it on the network, and then, well, now you don't even need to do it. You could just put it on a freaking tablet and be done with it.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, our smart devices now are far and away more powerful than my first computer could have ever dreamed. Mm-hmm. Never mind what the landing computers that NASA used in the 60s were.
Yeah.
I think my smartwatch has more power than that thing.
Yeah. And now, in a way, I'm taking that concept and I'm turning it onto what we do. It used to be that discussions were on television and they were produced. Sometimes they were at night. For a while, you could have seen them on things like here in the U.S., C-SPAN, which was supposed to be, the public being able to watch on cable television what's going on with the government, the Fed level especially, what's going on in Congress, who's saying what, and talk shows, on the radio or on television, meet the press, talk through the news or whatever it was, and now we can do this ourselves because this is the kind of thing that we want to do and we want to talk about. We've got that level of power now. And no, don't say the line, damn it. Some of you know where I was going with this. Dolph Lundgren. I'll leave it with that.
Yeah.
We've got the ability and the power ourselves now where I want to finish us through for you guys. What level of responsibility do we have? And don't go quoting the line from cartoon, from comic books, because it's easy, but where is our responsibility with this all? That's where I want to close us out with, because we're 100 plus episodes in now.
Yeah.
What's our level of responsibility with what we're doing?
With this, because we're doing it free with our own cost. On there, we can put this out without any listeners. We don't have any responsibilities to advertisers or fundings or whatever. So our responsibility is very much to ourselves.
Yes and no. I'll agree with you on that we do have a responsibility to ourselves, but because these videos are on YouTube, there's a library of them, and of course we're going to have the podcast.
Yeah.
I think there actually is a responsibility to an audience.
Yeah.
As well as the audience that we have now, small as it may be, we also have a responsibility to the audience that will come in the future. And the responsibility, I think, for us is we discuss a lot of topics. About a lot of things. We go political. We've gone social to an extent. Of course, we talk religion and atheism.
Sometimes all in one night.
Yeah. There are nights we hit every single one of those points. And I think we have a responsibility to be open-minded. To be, if we're going to say something, like if we're going to make a claim, that we can back it up with reputable information. Not be like so many of those juvenile YouTubers out there who just post, well, kind of like how Shujin started this whole thing. People on Facebook spouting whatever they wanted. I think we have a responsibility to not be like that, but instead be a voice that says, you know what, we say this is why we say this, and here's us backing it up. So that if someone says, well, what about what Heretic Woman said on Holy Crap episode blah blah blah? She said this, but then she backed it up with all of this, so
Yeah.
Now, is that to say it must be true? I say that as a very loaded statement, but the fact is, we owe it to our audience, present and future, that if we're going to say something, we better be ready to back it up, and we better be ready to be as right about it as we can. So, even though right now this is, I hate to use this term, even though this might be considered a bit of an echo chamber for us, I still think that we should be, well, whenever Shujin comes up with a particular topic, I think it behooves all of us to, at least the day before. This is why I always pressure him, like, give me the topic a couple days in advance so that I can do some reading on it, or, try to understand it a bit more so that I don't come in looking like a complete dumbass.
Yeah, that's definitely useful.
Which I've done on more than one occasion. I think the first show I ever did with these guys had to do with logical fallacies. I had just started listening to podcasts where the term logical fallacy came up. I'm like, I'm not ready for this.
You at least you'd heard of it, though. That's
yeah, and I remember straw man, but I if you asked me to define it, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
So it's like, so having a little bit of, being able to at least, if possible, do a little bit of research and come to the table with something to be ready. I think that's something we owe our audience.
Definitely, and I'll try and do that whenever I can, whenever I can see the topic ahead of time, and work schedules, etc. allow. And I've ducked out of a couple of shows or stayed very quiet on a few where it's been, say, a very US-centric issue up for discussion or something that I'm completely outside my experience.
Yeah.
Well, see, in my case, there have been subjects we have touched on where I wouldn't say I have expert commentary. I have experienced commentary. For example, some of the ones we've done that have been military-centric. The Second Amendment one in particular was one that I'd like to think that I added more than my 2 cents into it. But in my case, if it's something I'm not familiar with, for example, I haven't been watching the news lately. And so when the Oregon thing came up a couple weeks ago, I didn't have information on it. So, I had to brief myself on that, which I did during the show. But outside of that, I typically don't research the subject. Okay. I don't know who said it was.
Like, I heard the strumming of guitar there. I'm like,
I typically...
Do I have to put an outro on this one?
Am I being played out already?
No.
Frank Sinatra, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like the Oscars when they start playing.
That's what I was going.
Don't worry about it. Play 'em out. Keyboard Cat is already dead.
It's when they cut off Sinatra like Bobbit, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, I actually don't do a whole lot of research on the subjects that we discuss on this show, and there's a reason why I don't. I prefer to give my honest and unadulterated reaction to them as I learn about them on the show. I try to be that guy who, just walked up to the conversation. I try to give it a different perspective than someone who's trying to be an expert on the subject. Not saying any of us do that. I'm just saying that I want to give it that every man kind of approach of the guy who just opened his morning paper.
That's a great point, because we're all a reflection of what regular people think, what regular thinking people think.
So there's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, no, and that actually does make sense. I guess is just more, like you said, like with the Oregon thing, you kind of briefed yourself on it as as we were on the show.
I try to keep it a little organic.
Yeah. I guess what I'm thinking about more in terms of wanting to research is when we get topics like things like the logical fallacies or something that just where you want a little bit of prep time, you know.
Whereas in most cases like that, I can always reference Carlin.
Yeah, you see, you've got that knack. Like, you know, Carlin, Leary. Okay, I'd probably do Kinnison a little bit better, but I don't want to blow out anybody's levels here.
At least nobody mentioned Gaffigan yet.
Yeah,
Hey, you know what? I've got the gut for Kinnison, okay? I don't have his liver, but I got the gut for it.
Oh, pockets.
So, Heretic
What are you talking about? I like NASCAR. He's a jerk.
Stop it. You're being noticeably quiet so far about it.
I don't know. Well, there is that, yes.
It's got to be so hard to come down to one particular item, especially with all the 14 podcasts you work on now.
Yeah, well, there is that too. And my cat's howling at me to throw a ball for her.
Don't. The rest of you guys, don't you dare do this to me now. I know how you people work.
What?
No.
I think as long as we're honest and open and genuine and that, I think that's the best that we can do for listeners, you know. And if one of the biggest things is if we come across something we don't know, that we don't feel bad about saying, hey, I don't know, but let's find out, that kind of stuff. And since you didn't ask me what I like about doing this earlier, because I guess, you know.
Sorry, just things were just weaving around. I didn't even realize. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Personally, when you're talking about the 14 billion other shows, I really like the fact that I can show up and not have any responsibility for the show.
I know.
Definitely.
We talked about that before.
But it's a nice break for me where I can still contribute, but I don't have to worry about who's the guest and what's our topic and do I need to prep stuff and this and that. So for me, just to kind of be like, hey, that's the topic. Do I need to read anything? Maybe, maybe not, and just kind of show up. So, but I think, you know, genuine honesty and being forthright in what we discuss, I think is the best approach in any show like this. You know, we hope to be entertaining, but we hope to get people to think too and exercise the gray cells just a little bit, at least. So, yeah, I think that's the responsibility we might have.
So
Joseph has disappeared.
No, it's okay. I'm sure Joey will be back momentarily.
Mm-hmm.
At some point. Unless a creeper got him. It's a whole other thing. Joseph, you've been... You're one of the later ones in the game at this point. And I gotta imagine that you... Well, let's face it. You and Chris both came on about the same time. You both have come a long way with this all. How have you felt that responsibility-wise for, you know, coming on time and time and time, and it's freaking early in the morning for you guys too.
Yeah, well,
that's a pain in the ass.
Who's going first, Chris? You or me?
I don't have a lot of time left to argue about this on the show, so.
Yeah, but aren't you normally supposed to correct me?
You get the opportunity this time. Don't worry about it.
This is my biggest responsibility on the show, correcting Joseph.
Yeah.
You know what? It's going to turn around this time. He's going to correct you.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it's something I enjoy doing. It's with a show that is not waking up at ridiculous o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Ridiculous o'clock. I got to write that one down.
That would
I always-
dark stupid in the morning for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dark
Yeah,
about
I
4
usually
o'clock
say
in the
half
morning.
past stupid, but yeah.
Yeah, and try and remember to throw a shirt on or something before I turn the camera on.
On behalf of the entire viewing public, thank you.
We thank you.
Joseph, you are not.
Way to
Yeah, but so
way
that,
to
yeah,
build the guy's confidence. Jeez.
Is that just an insult? What?
Just a little one though.
Hey, I got some great needle bruises I can show you. They're right here.
Yeah, yeah, I have a few of those too.
We've had our good laugh. Let him talk.
yeah. So it's great to be here in the morning once I've actually woken up enough, and I try and and also the fact that there's people willing to listen to this. You know, the least I can do is feed their masochism.
Okay, Joseph, go ahead. Tell him everything he just said is bullshit. Go ahead.
Oh no, he's done a pretty good demonstration of that himself. That's actually a phrase you could use in pretty well any argument. But anyways, to make the opposing party look bad, it's not one I suggest people use. But yeah, I'm walking a fine line between, destroying the show with shitty puns and totally lead bombing it with like overly serious stuff. Like there seems to be no middle ground with me. But what I like most is that it's funny how our discussions were supposed to be quote unquote religion themed show or non-religion themed show. But it's amazing how little of it has to do really with religion. And I think we're kind of representing a next step, beyond religion, because first you get out of the thing, and then it's after, like, what do you do without it? How do you operate without it? And I think we're a pretty good example of that. I mean, looking at the world with a perspective absent of religious meddling and individuals' takes on what's going on in the world.
Yeah, funny enough, you know what? The way what you just said, I want to use that for my closing in a couple of moments because you just gave me something that I really hadn't thought about quite correctly. Brigid, you are our most recent co-host at this point, and you're the one that's rounded it out. I'm really interested for you how you feel the responsibility runs.
Well, I mean, I feel like we do a good job of trying to connect with, the audience that we have. I can't think of a better way to jack up my sleep schedule than this. It's been a lot of fun. We need to have Dave Foda on again real soon. So.
Yes.
Sorry.
Why? Give me one good reason why.
Get me to start drinking again.
2 words. You'll see.
Yeah. I was just on another show with him last night, actually. At short notice, too.
What a show?
Well, the Atheist podcast. And guess who's doing my show tomorrow?
Dave Foda?
Well, you.
Foda.
Get a room.
Hey, we already did ReasonCon, remember?
Yes, we did. He's bringing a friend this time, though.
Great. So we're going all the way back to this whole thing with the nun and the donkey again. Really, you're gonna do this?
There are no nuns and donkeys on my show. Thank you very much.
Bad habits.
Just bad habits.
Really?
Well, Beth and Ashley are still smoking. So yeah, there's definitely 2 bad habits on the show.
Oh, I just quit yesterday, by the way.
No. Congratulations.
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 Thank you.
Quittings for quitters.
Unless you're quitting.
He's
Oh,
still pretty
no.
funny when he's laying down with a headache.
Oh,
Oh.
So,
I'm
Brigid.
I'll
yes.
quit when I'm dead.
There's a Weird Al song for that. So,
Go
so
on
Brigid,
without me.
okay. What's finish your thought? What the frick? Why, Dave?
He's, he's really up on his fallacies and all that. It's always a lot of fun when we have him on the show. And he does talk about, serious things, but we do have to be sure that it's power of 10 or we, wear the explicit label proudly whenever he's on.
He can curb it if you tell him to, I think. I
Okay,
do.
What would be the fun in that?
Oh, but
Well,
wait.
okay.
Fallacy. Okay, I heard phallus.
Well, I can't.
Welcome to the gutter, Joseph. Glad to have you here. Should move over? We got another one.
Yeah, so that doesn't surprise me. And Heretic Woman, could you do me a big favor? What I need you to do is, okay, if you would kind of turn your head off to the left a little bit more, about 45 degrees,
Why?
because I'm trying to find out how far your nose has grown from saying that he can hold it together and not hurt. Are you kidding me? Seriously?
If I can do it, I mean, come on! I swear my head off on my own show,
That's true.
and I can come here and usually not do it. So
Fine. That's
although if it depends how much he's got to drink too. Yeah, there is that.
And,
Or whether his battery runs out.
Yeah.
It's a plug.
Joseph. Sorry, Joey. Not yet. I'll get you out of here in a second.
You're an
Not yet. So, Bridget, anything else you legitimately want to add into that, other than telling me yes, get David M.F. Foda on the show again?
No, it's been a lot of fun. It really has. I've learned a lot, and I'm glad that I'm here.
Yeah.
I'll have you done shortly. And you've got visitors.
What? What?
No, I don't have visitors. I have roommates, and it's not that I'm tired. It's that my head is a quivering quagmire of pain right now.
Okay, so would you like to just say goodnight and be done and go get yourself all drugged up?
No, I'm good. I'm actually avoiding the drugs for now because they have caused me to have rather violent nosebleeds.
Ooh, that's not good.
No, it's not.
Yeah, not really.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And mute button is good for that.
Moving on.
Well, at least Tech snores.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I'm quiet,
sorry.
mostly.
Fine enough. All right, so I got everybody at this point specifically, right? I mean, everybody feels that they've got their piece in so far?
Yep.
Good.
Duh.
Okay, I'll take that as yes. Because otherwise it's duh, as in, what are you new?
That sounded Russian.
Probably was. Which is odd, considering that isn't Tech the one who took Russian literature? Think so.
I didn't know.
I don't. You know what?
It wasn't me.
Sorry. All right, so closing this out, I'll do this really, really fast, surprisingly enough. What Joseph had just mentioned about I had kind of thought about a couple of times before, but I really hadn't put it into like the forward part of my head, as the expression goes, that we were kind of intended to be a much more religious show and discussion group, and it's really turned into much, much less that directly. I don't know who that was. Don't care. We'll fix that in post.
Sorry, that was my Facebook.
That's all right.
I've never really viewed us as a specifically religious show. Yes, I know the whole name is Holy Crap, but I for one have viewed us more as specifically a skeptics show, not just in the purview of religion, but in all things that are deserving of conversation, of debate and discussion. And we've hit many things over the course of the last 2 years.
True enough, and that's not too far from the truth. Part of the reason why I named it the way that I did, yes, the vlogcast, yes, I kind of described that, but the holy crap part was actually, for me, supposed to be more along the lines of, I never knew that. That kind of piece of it all. Kind of hurt you. Anyway, but the point being is that I really wanted to get away from a different show where we were viewed as bashing religion because we would harp on it too much. And it was supposed to have been a much more lighthearted show, the one that we kind of spun off from. And we did that. We got away from it. So the only thing that we've talked about on that particular show that had anything to do with religion, because we could keep it funny, was the fact that Pastor Manning's church is going bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.
And that was something that we could get away with because it was short, and it was a huge piece of Schadenfreude, and justifiably so. Considering the clientele for that other show, made perfect sense. It was, forgive me, it was a quick in and out on that particular item, and I'm not saying that because I'm trying to be funny about it, but because it really was, from a comedic standpoint, an in-and-out job. It was, boom, here it is. This is why it's so funny. It's Schadenfreude. Congratulations, he's going away. We do our little bit about how he sounds, and gone. And it was good enough. But we're not hammering on religious items. We hit on them every once in a while because they come up in the news. Because, well, not because of Schadenfreude, but because it is talking about the social good. And I think that's pretty much what Joseph had mentioned, that we are much more a skeptics show than anything else. We're not looking to say religion is bad, and okay, here's why. We're not saying religion is irreconcilable with reality because here, okay. We are much more here is a topic, here is something that has come up in the social circles. This is something that has happened, and how do you think about it? Why do you think about it?
Can I add something?
Please.
We're an emerging minority, basically, and we have to deal with a greater majority who's still largely religious. And I mean, this is almost like therapy in a way, how to deal with it.
Yeah.
In that case, we need to start charging you people.
Start off with 1,400. How's that?
Joseph, you hit on a very interesting point, and it does kind of tie in with what Shujin was saying about us not being particularly a religious bashing show. And it's that, like you've always said, teaching people to think, or getting them to think.
Or giving them something to think about, or showing them that it's possible, even.
Yeah, exactly. Lighting that, just kicking that spark up to eventually get the pilot light lit.
Yeah.
No, so that
where's the pilot
light? Yeah, but when they realize that, they can think, they can start to reason things out, and eventually, they'll be like all of us. The hope is that if we show them that thinking is actually a good thing, eventually they'll think their way into, why the hell am I getting down on my knees for this Sky Daddy?
Yeah.
Oh, and
I'm-
another thing is
Donna?
that I think we're a perfect demonstration also of it's okay to be wrong. You know, I mean, we're here for each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if I
Donna?
had a neck every time I was wrong on the show, I could have retired by now.
yeah.
Yeah, because you've got the large mainstream. The most shows are, you know, just shows about people showing how right they are. You know, that's their main goal, trying to be an authority. There's, you know, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I've had quite a few mea culpas on this show, and I'm grateful for it because I've learned something.
Yeah, come away a better person.
Exactly.
Dan? Is telling people they might end up like us necessarily the best recruiting tool?
It's a great starting point. You can do
As
better.
long as they remember to put on their shirts.
Yes.
If we can motivate people to think, oh, I could do better than that, then cool.
There
But
you go.
we all know that no one podcasts with pants on, especially in Hangouts.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's
I'm
do
wearing
this.
compression stockings. Does that help?
Wow.
Whatever's your back.
Down.
Sorry, yes.
2 words? Not helping.
Shujin, in all the years you've known me, when's the last time I actually helped? Really? Let's be honest here.
Actually, when you keep dropping in the audio for me. Thank you, bitch.
And I ain't fixing that in post either.
No, you're not. So here's the responsibility part. It's exactly what was said. I think our responsibility is, as was said, to ourselves, to our own integrity, to the integrity of the people that we are hoping are going to be catching up on us. And by the way, to go along with that, we don't. I will speak for myself, because I'm not going to speak for all of us on this panel. I don't care how many of you are watching. And let me explain. I'm going to keep doing the show that I'm doing because it's the show I want to do, because I want to do this show. And I don't care how many people it is that's out there. I don't care if it's 1. I don't care if it's 100 million. I'm going to do the show that I want to do because this is the show that I want to do. And I learned from doing another show that I grew from the ground up. I don't have a huge following of people, but I got people who enjoy the hell out of what I do because it's the way that I want to do it. You know what? I will never work a day in my life doing that show. Ever. I try hard with this show to try to get a topic, and truth be told, it's tough to come up with a topic and not be looking at it and going, well, this is crap, this is a throwaway. There are very few times where I just say, let's just take whatever the hell we want to the table. That's a throwaway night to me. I feel wrong doing that. And I know once in a while it's probably a good thing to do, but I feel wrong. But I try to come with something. I try, believe it or not, to make it a lot of like what Joey said, of we're just coming into this whole thing and we kind of have some pieces that we know about, a lot of pieces we don't know about, and okay. I try to be able to come up with a couple of days' notice so that we can have some kind of information like Dallin's talking about. Most of all, my responsibility as far as I'm concerned is to as much of the truth as possible, as much of the facts as is possible. I like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm trying to stick away from the term truth. I am really, really, really trying hard to remind myself, use facts. Because truth is a judgment call. Whether it's subjective or objective doesn't matter. I want to stick to what is. more than anything else. And really, to me, that is the most important piece. I want people to be able to respect that if we have an opinion, we're going to tell you it's our opinion. But if we're going to say this is a fact, it's damn well going to be as close to accurate as we can possibly be within the reasonable bounds of what we know up to that point. Because I would much rather be respected for my integrity than to be liked because I was kowtowing to some thought about how things should be. Because, and screw the tag at this point, as the expression goes, fuck that noise. I would much rather look at myself in the mirror and say, I did good, than to look at my wallet and say, I got paid. I will always, always err on the side of my own humanity and the respect that I have for all of us. Because I share something with all of you. I'm human. And I'll always, always go with that first and foremost. Thank you for being with us, everybody. We hope that you've enjoyed the past 100 episodes and one more. Wow. Because, wow. Actually, not because of that, but wow. We've made it. And I got no intentions of stopping now. I have every intention, however, of getting my brain to bed soon, apparently. Because, wow, that sucked.
And Joseph just collapsed after crossing the finish line.
Yeah.
You know what? That's perfectly fine. If he's got past the finish line, that's fine. You can stop then. Doesn't matter. I want to take.
For those of you listening to the audio version of this, Joey just gave his opinion on that last comment. And listen to this part, you kind of know what the comment was.
It came about in the form of a slightly disembodied hand.
More in particular, a disembodied finger.
Yes.
As an Italian, Joey, thank you. Fortunately, I understand because Italians understand, and up yours too.
Preferably not.
Before we close out with everybody, I want to take a couple of moments just to say a very quick thank you to the folks who are not on the panel. First off, Unrenewed Tech, thank you for being with us, man. Have yourself a great weekend. Witchy Bunny, thank you for being one of the first hosts and for coming back last week. Greatly appreciate it. Gavin, even though we have not seen you in a long time, thank you for also being one of the earlier co-hosts. Hope that you've enjoyed your time, and thank you for the perspective that you gave us. It's been a hoot. All of the guests that have been on over the years, the guys from the Scathing Atheists, thank you for letting us have you guys as our first. Sam Mulvey, thank you for giving the time. And I have every intention of getting Sam back again soon, plus I want to send him a gift. I'm going to tell the panel off the air why shortly. Aaron Ra, thank you. Shoot, I'm trying to remember some of the other guys. Cash, thank you for being on and not falling asleep and insulting me on my own goddamn show.
and Reap
was also a wonderful person. Thank you. Dave Foda, twice. Wow, what the hell?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
Yep.
From No
Bill
Religion Required.
Bill and Susie,
Bobby and Ashley. And I should have put together a list of everybody. Damn.
And hey, Neff, thanks for your 2 cents.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yes.
That was
Nephilim free.
Thank you.
We always love hearing from you.
Every time I hear the
We
word
love
Nephilim, I keep thinking of
ignoring you.
Diablo 3.
Let's see. Who else do we had?
Callie.
Callie.
Yes,
Yes.
Miss
Very
Callie,
good.
yes.
Callie.
Right.
Times.
Nick Morganmore and Jake for Wharton a couple of
And
times.
Zandy.
Zandy Anderson.
And of course,
Callie?
Yes,
Yep.
we got Callie. And just last week, of course, we had Teresa McBean, we had Tracy Harris, and
Shelley Siegel.
Shelley Siegel. Was that everybody? Yes, because Beth couldn't make it, and
We had Witchy on.
well, I got Witchy earlier, and I'm trying to remember who was the
Vicky couldn't.
Vicky. That's right. I was trying to
Yeah,
remember. Couldn't
Vicky,
make it, but my intention is to, of course, see what we could possibly get in the future for them. All of you guests who have been on before, thank you so very much. And if you're at all interested in them, look back through the archives and you can check all that out. As always, I want to thank the current panel because you guys make these nights so much fun for me and help me think through a lot of stuff. Joseph, thank you so very kindly. Plug all of the things and thank you so much for the perspective you've given over all these episodes that you've been with us.
Yeah, that sounds like you're saying goodbye. Oh yes, well, atheistapocalypse.com, and yeah, well, that's it at Atheist Apocalypse. Yeah, well, that's it.
We just started season 2.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm gonna start writing actually for the part. I
He
don't know.
is. I'm
Nice.
excited to see what he comes up with.
Yeah,
For
But-
Fabrice.
he's going to become a real motherfucker.
Damn, I gotta tune in again now.
Oh yeah.
That's the real show now.
Yeah.
Chris?
Oh yes.
Thank you, sir, for having me on. Of course, I forgot to say.
It's all right. Chris, thank you very much for your time and for remembering which USB port to be using. Thank you so very much for being with us and getting up every freaking morning with us like this. Thank you.
I think it's great to be here again.
And still nothing for you to plug at this point, right?
Nothing for me to plug at this point now.
Except for the book. I've still got that in the show notes.
Yes, certainly. So the comic book I've been plugging over the last couple of weeks is called Think the Book at thinkthebook.org or check the show notes. It's a great album of sort of incendiary, skeptical cartoons covering sort of religion, the skeptical issues, politics. Amazing work, but the author's having some trouble finding a publisher because of the content. The Kickstarter campaign's coming to an end in about 2 weeks, I think. So any support for that would be appreciated. And it would be a great book to own.
Cool. Joey.
Yeah.
Say goodnight, Joey.
Good night, Joey. Thank you so much for not blowing us up where we sleep.
I'm going to make sure to amplify that part in post at least.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for your time, Joey, and you try to take care of yourself, would you please? Preferably without, hemorrhaging through your face.
I make no promises.
Yeah, let's not go to that whole hemorrhage term right now, okay? That's a little...
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's hitting a little close to home, okay?
Good point. Brigid, thank you very kindly for your time and
Thank you.
for your counsel and everything that you've helped out with getting done. Grandly appreciated. I hope you always remember. Plug and flog all of the things if you would, please.
The only thing I have to plug is my blog. Come see me at brigidfitch2112.wordpress.com.
That sounded dirty.
It did, but you know what? I don't care. Oh, and by the way, not naming names, but I did have somebody who contacted me, by the way, this past week, who was not sure where your blog was and such. So I'm not pointing them out because I'm trying to bring attention to them. I just wanted you to know that there is someone who has been interested and wanted to get pointed specifically back over to it. So good on you for that.
Thank you.
Yep. Heretic Woman, the calendar is rolling. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the invitations that we've gotten over the last year and a half or so now, I think.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you. Like I say, it's nice to have somewhere where I can go and give my 2 cents without having to plan all of it in advance myself. So, that's very good for me. I'm very happy to have that as well. And especially last week's show was really awesome to be with such esteemed ladies. So that was very cool. But I've got the whole Beyond the Trailer Park thing happening on Monday nights at 9:30 Eastern on YouTube. You can find us at the Beyond the Trailer Park channel. Tomorrow we have, as I said, Foda's coming back, but he's only there really as support for a friend of his who goes by Lynn on Facebook and will be showcasing some of her ideas because she's a very smart lady as well, and she needs to have somewhere to start putting her ideas out there, and so hopefully we will be a stepping stone for her to feel good about doing that. So that's tomorrow night on Beyond the Trailer Park. And I think that's all I have for tonight. Okay. I don't have to do all the work this week like I did last week. But it's not his fault because he wasn't actually invited to be on the show last week. So I guess I'll have to give him a pass.
It's all right. And Dallin, you've gone above and beyond in a lot of ways, so thank you so very much on the stuff from behind the scenes, and thanks for making this so much fun. Plug whatever it is that you've got at this point.
Well, thanks. It's good to be back. Hopefully I can turn this into something a little more consecutive because, contrary to popular belief, no, I'm not a fan of hospital food. I mean, it's edible, but that's about all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, they say that about White Castle hamburgers too, but
Yeah, exactly. It's.
Oh wait, they are. I'm sorry. Going on.
Yeah. Anyways, but the only thing I'm going to plug right now is the audio version of this show over at holycrapthevlogcast.com. That is where you'll get the audio podcast version of these wonderful shows that are on YouTube. My plan is to get the whole site updated, including tonight's show, this weekend, so that it'll be current. I know I've lagged back behind a little bit, but I've kind of had my reasons,
Yeah. You have nothing to apologize on this part for, man.
Yeah. Well, sorry, the apology thing, it's a Canadian thing, so it's just what I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the big one for me. That's the big plug right now.
All right. There's a couple pieces I want people to know about. I am really, really, really bad with a lot of this blogging and vlogging technology. I will admit it. There's a lot of it I still don't understand. There's a couple of pieces I really want to at least know enough about to do. For instance, what I would really like to do is to actually set up each of the videos linked, embedded into the show listings on the website. I've been extremely bad about that. I will admit it. I'll be the first to admit it. But I kind of want to make this, a real thing happen like this. I have a hard time with trying to understand these pieces because it's really tough on me. I'm working on it. So just remember that it's still going to be a work in progress. It's going to be a long time work in progress, but we're still working on it. And we're not giving up by a long stretch. Last but not least, I want to thank you people. Not because you've been writing in, because for the vast majority, nobody does. Not because you've been using the voicemail system, because, well, nobody does. Dallin knows full well what it's like. Yeah, nobody ever uses the damn voicemail line because, well, you were flogging that for how many years with Outcast, and how many voicemails did you get?
I got a grand total of about 3. Had to change the number 6 times because I kept running out of the 30-day idle period. Yeah. Although now the site boasts its own voicemail system. You can actually leave an audio message through WordPress itself.
Oh. Well, I did not know about that. I guess we got something new to
I'll
work
let you know what the plugin is. Maybe we can install it on ours.
Fair enough. But
at least you don't have to pay for it.
But at least we've got. But I'm saying thank you because we have gotten people who have gotten attention, who have found something worthwhile, who have trolled us. You know what? We'll take it. Because, as was said to a lot of us, and specifically to me, if you help just one person, was it worth spending the $200 and the who only knows how many hours of time learning stuff? Was it worth it? Yeah. This has been worth it. So thanks. If you'd like to drop messages or whatnot, all the information that you need is over at the main webpage, holycrapthevlogcast.com. The email address, of course, is podcast@holycrapthevlogcast.com. If you want to go ahead and drop a voicemail, the number is 859-HCTV-554, 859-4288-554. Twitter, YouTube, Google+, and Facebook, it's Holy Crap the Vlogcast, or in Twitter's case, Holy Crap TV. And we will see you next week. There's going to be a weekend that's going to come up, of course, in the near future that not going to have happen, but you know what? You can live with it. We appreciate you guys. Let us know that we're doing a good job for you. Of course, as always, I wish you all the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. And of course, Fujin, Matane, I love you and I miss you. I hope that you're proud of me. You dream of me. Till the next time we get together, everybody, from all of us to all of you, good night.